How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my latest video and thank you for tuning in. I'm starting a series where I will build an entire single board computer clusters made out of Radxa X2L X86 single board computers from the scratch. So in this part of the series, the first video, I'm unboxing all the components that I need to build the single board computer. All the components but one. I don't have the case yet. I've not decided what kind of case I want, but I'll do so soon and I'll show you guys in the future video. Anyways, I'm going to be unboxing all the components that we need to build that cluster besides the case. And here we are. And I'm going to start out by unboxing these routers. But before I do this, I just want to say one thing. I showed you guys everything that we need for the single board cluster besides one component, which is the case, because I've not yet decided what case I'm going to put this in. But once again, we can always build an entire cluster without even having a case, you know. Anyways, let's continue and start unboxing the first component, which you guys can see right here, the Netgear router, the Ethernet switch. And I'm going to unbox this one. I guess right here. I'm winging it, you know. I've done it before, so. And you guys can see here it is, the actual adapter. I guess I'm gonna open this right here a little bit. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Ethernet ports, which means 5 SBCs can be connected in this just one router alone. Pretty sick. And then, you know, this has like the power adapter right here. Right, pause. We got a couple of screws and things like that, you know, which I'll show you guys the use of it all and actually build the cluster in the future video. Okay. And this also comes with the installation guide, you know. I mean, we don't waste time with that. And in this box, we actually have a very important component of the single board cluster, or any kind of computer, to be honest. Because without this, you know, a lot of problems can be caused, like smoke and things like that. It's a bunch of fans with heat sinks on them. I'll show you guys. They come in like a nice, like really pretty case like that. And let me show you guys. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fans, because I also have 8 single board computers that will go in this cluster. Or, you know, I might make 2 clusters, like 4 each. And this fan right there, it comes with a heat sink, and the fan is right here, and this is the port that goes on the single board computer on the Radxa X2L. I'll show you guys that in a bit. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, I have 8 fans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because I have 8 SBCs. So since we just talked about the actual fans, I also have this passive cooler, which I'll show you guys. I mean, it is not a mandatory option to build a cluster, but it helps to have the additional cooling, and I'll show you guys. It looks like that. You know, it comes with the screwdriver of its own. That's pretty interesting. I didn't even know that. That's nice, you know, and a bunch of screws, obviously. So, and the passive cooler right here. Let's see what happens. As you can see, like for the alignment, pull it, it opens up, you know. Nice. Pause it. And it comes with these. And these things that you guys see in my hand right now are actually additional thermal protection as well. So basically, the purpose of this cooler is that it goes on the NVMe drive on the back of the Radxa X2L, because the problem is the NVMe drive tends to overheat a lot, and this thing helps with that. I can maybe make a video in the future, show you guys the temperature of the SBC, the same with Radxa X2L without this cooler, you know, additional cooling, and then one with it. And just so you guys can compare the temperature difference, you know, and how it is indeed important. And I also got these power adapters. I'm gonna open one box, and you guys see here, each box comes with 2 power adapters. They're 11 volt. Like the Radxa X2L that I'm using is actually the Radxa X2L that I'm using actually requires 12 volts, but these still do the job just fine. I've used one, you know, and it powers on just fine. And it's right here, and these are the wires. So like I said, I have 8 SBCs, meaning 8 nodes, and I got the 8 power adapters. Each box comes with 2. And we have right here the 8 Ethernet ports. And I'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now unbox one of them. Right here it says fast connection, which it actually works pretty well, you know. I have one more cluster which you use this on. Looks pretty cool, you know. See, unlike traditional Ethernet ports, it's more like an L. Kind of nice, you know. Pretty sick. This Ethernet port basically also gives you the potential to turn it upside down, which is very unique, and it helps in building different clusters. Gives you a lot of freedom on how to put it, you know. Pretty cool in my opinion, you know. And besides that, I got here, you know, like this is actually extremely important. Got a bunch of screws, like separators, because like what I want to do is that I want to stack up each single board computer on top of each other, and like I'm gonna use this to separate. This will also give enough room for the fan, because like the fan has to go on top of each SBC. I showed you guys 8 fans for 8 SBCs. And then you have like this, you know. And like I might need more than this, but like I'll just see as I get more into building this. You guys will see my journey through the videos. A quick note, I may indeed not even end up using these M3s. We have the different kinds that actually fit the X2L better. Sorry, like I'm just like providing additional information, but again, building an entire cluster, a lot of decisions goes into it. And once I started to look at all these X2L computers and the size of the screws that you can take, turns out like I might need something a bit different, and I will show you guys that as well, because again, like this is just an overview and me showing you guys the components on the first glance and then unboxing them. And then this is the network adapter. I can show you guys this as well. It's the TPLINK brand, and again, like I'll put the links in the description on where to get all of these components, you know. I should have mentioned that earlier in the video. Right here, the Ethernet port. Take this off. And the purpose of this USB Ethernet adapter is that basically one limitation in my opinion, one major limitation in my opinion of Radxa X2L is that it only has one Ethernet port. And where like this limitation comes in is that when we actually build a cluster, right, and we have head node also as Radxa X2L, the head node has to be exposed to the outside internet. So basically one Ethernet port goes to the local area network where the cluster is built, and then we can use this, you know, USB 3 to the Ethernet port adapter to actually connect it to the you know, the internet, you know, the Ethernet or the things like that, you know, just to expose it to the outside network. And I got 8 USB to USB-C connectors, you know, not much to unbox here, just like I'll just open it like that, you know, as you see. And now the most interesting part of the video, if you guys have made it this far without getting bored, I'm going to show you guys the actual single board computer, the Radxa X2L. Let me unbox and I'll give the quick review because I'll talk a lot more about the Radxa X2L in the future video of the series, but I'll still talk a little bit about it. Anyways, let me just unbox one of the actual single board computer, because this is the core, the heart and soul of the entire operation. Let's go. Okay, so it comes in the boxes like this from where I ordered, and I'll put in the description. Y'all may get it a bit differently, I don't know, but anyways. And here it is, guys, the actual single board computer whose cluster I'm making. Like I said before, the Radxa X2L model, and it is actually a very powerful device for its size. Let me unbox it and show you guys what it actually looks like first. It's a bit hard to get it out. It's gonna have to like wiggle a little bit. Here it is, guys, the heart and soul of the operation. Pretty tired right now, you know, so like please tolerate my lack of energy. It's like 1 a.m. in the night or morning. So here it is, the single board computer whose cluster I'm actually building, and I will give you guys a lot more detailed review of this in the future videos, but for now let me talk about its components and possible peripherals. Right here we have the Ethernet port, the USB-C, two USB-C ports. We have the HDMI ports, you know, so you guys can connect it directly to a monitor for the display. The audio aux cord right here. And I want to quickly mention, this is the LPDDR4 RAM, and like this one gives 3 different options: 2 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes, and 8 gigabytes. This one's 8 gigabytes, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what the LPDDR4 RAM. And this is the Intel Celeron processor. To be exact, Intel Celeron J4125. It has the 4 cores and 4 threads. On top of that, this Radxa X2L is equipped with Intel UHD Graphics 600. Now imagine a cluster with 8 of those. That's a lot of graphics for it. That's a lot of RAM as well, because it is the 8 gigs already in this one. I am gonna make a cluster of 8 of these, or at least I might make 2 clusters of 4. But if I make the 8 of these, that's like 64 gigs of RAM right there on this tiny device. Okay, pause. This comes with the DirectX 12, the OpenGL 4.4, and 4 megabytes of cache. To talk a bit more about its dimensions, it is actually 159 millimeters or 6.25 inches. So, you know, not too long, not too big, smaller than my hand. See, yeah, a little bit smaller. Okay, pause. And just like you guys saw in my old Raspberry Pi 4 video, we have a 40-pin GPIO header, and on this side right here is the old USB 2.0. We have M2.E key connectors on that. Right here, M2.E key connector, and this is where the SSD goes. It's also M2.0. To be exact, the M2M key connector. And right here where the battery goes, it is the RTC battery seat, and it is important because, well, first of all, the box doesn't come with the battery, like it has to be bought separately. So the battery is important because it is connected to the clock, and the clock is important because if you guys power down for the first time, right, you guys will see where is it, the red light somewhere, and I will show you guys as well when I actually make a video of me using this. Yeah, on the first time power up, the BIOS setting initializes on this red light. You will see a red light here for at least 1 minute before it turns white and the power is on. And without the battery, that process would repeat each time it is repowered on. So the battery helps with that. Anyways, this is the Radxa X2L. Like I talked about, the SBC cluster I've built, and you guys will see a lot of that in my series as I continue producing more videos. And I must mention, by the way, the power button is right here. And this is the boot cell button for RP2040. And here is the RP2040. So I'm gonna mention a bit of the purpose of this RP2040 device, and actually what exactly is it. So just to give you guys a brief overview, this RP2040 is actually Raspberry Pi Pico device, and it is a microcontroller that is designed by Raspberry Pi. So the purpose of this Raspberry Pi Pico or RP2040 in this Radxa X2L device is that it can communicate with the Intel Celeron, the main processor, and then it can also communicate with this 40-pin GPIO header. Because this 40-pin GPIO header doesn't have the compatible communication directly with the Celeron. So basically, I guess you could say like the RP2040 is the middleman between the main processor and the 40-pin GPIO header. Now let's talk a bit about why RP2040. What is the significance of that name? So clearly RP means Raspberry Pi. The 2 in the 2040 implies the number of cores. So this Raspberry Pi Pico has 2 cores. And the 0 is type of core, like M0 plus. You guys can look that up a bit online, or if you guys want me to talk about it, let me know. I can make a future video. And then this 4 here implies the log of the actual RAM of this. The log base 2 of the 4 is 16, the 16K RAM. And that is really just a bit of a tangent from the main Radxa X2L, but I figured I should talk a bit about this little square that you guys see, because it is pretty important and pretty unique and pretty cool, and does a big job, connecting the GPIO header to the Intel Celeron. Well, I'll stop my video here. Thank you for tuning in this unboxing video. If you guys like it, please like, share, and subscribe, and I genuinely appreciate you guys supporting me.